What's the center of a community? What makes your community tick? If you remove that one thing, what would make it fall apart? What is the linchpin of your community? There are several options. One is the leaders, the gifted women and men who have the charisma and the relational connection and the skills to organize and put together an incredible time and an incredible feeling and culture within a community. And so a community can be centered around those people. And one way you know that that's what you're doing or that's what your community is like, because you might say, hey, this is Bob and Jen's community. That's the one that I belong to. It can also be centered around a book, a study, a desire to learn more information. It can even be centered around the Bible. And we say, hey, this is what we get together for, is that Bible. It's a Bible study. That's what makes us all tick. That pursuit of knowledge together is how we exist. It can also be centered around justice or a need or a cause. How can we bring about change? What agenda or influence can we have on the culture around us? And it's usually really specific, and that's what makes the community exist. It's that cause. Another possibility is a network of relationships. That the social needs are what is being met, that people have common interests, common desires, common work, and that's what binds a community together. Another option is time slot, that is simply a time that works for everyone. And why do you exist with those people? Why do you pursue what you're pursuing? It's because that's the evening that you have free. You belong to the Monday night community, the Wednesday night community. It's because that's when your schedules align. And lastly, the last example I'll give is around geography, that you all live close to each other, that there's a place that connects you. There's a common geography, a common location, and that's what makes you a community. And so here's just 6 examples of what the center, the heartbeat of a community can be. The challenge is that many of these things wane. The relationships can get torn or enter conflict, and then what? Leaders can go through hard times. They can be struggling. A pursuit of knowledge is really great, but after a while you can become fatigued without living that knowledge. Justice is powerful and pursuing it is wonderful, except for when we get burned out, or except when those solutions actually take hold. And then what is our community about? Time slot's great until schedules change. Location is powerful, but is it truly enough to keep us together? And the reality is, as Bonhoeffer says in his book, Life Together, is that none of these things are enough to keep a community together. The only thing powerful enough to keep a community sustained and what it was meant to be is Jesus. That Jesus has to be the king and the ruler and reign. His grace, his mercy, his love has to be what draws us into community, has to be what sustains a community. It's what sustains the leaders. It's what sustains forgiveness and reconciliation and relationships. Jesus is who we look to when we read the scriptures because we desire to know him. Jesus is the Lord who calls us into justice. Then we see Jesus taking place, building his kingdom in the location where we live. And then we even submit all of our time, every calendar, every event, every moment to Jesus. Jesus is truly the only sustainable and also thriving center of any community.